The Tudors Dynasty Podcast.
Welcome back to the Tudors Dynasty Podcast, Stories of Royalty and Power. I'm your host, Rebecca Larson, and today we're traveling beyond the Tudor realm to explore the life of a remarkable woman who, despite her royal birth, carved out a very different legacy. Renée of France, born a princess, married to a duke, and drawn into the heart of the Reformation. Renée's story is one of courage, conviction, and resistance in a time of religious upheaval. So let's dive in. Renée of France was born on the 25th of October, 1510, to Louis XII of France and Anne of Brittany. Now, being the daughter of a king and queen made her a valuable political pawn, but Renée's life took an unexpected turn. Unlike her elder sister Claude, who became Queen of France, Renée's future led her to the heart of Italy. In 1528, she married Ercole II d'Este, the Duke of Ferrara, which made her the Duchess of one of the most prestigious Renaissance courts in Italy. But Renée wasn't just a noblewoman defined by her titles. She was a woman of intellect and fierce conviction. Now, Renée's story gets really interesting when it comes to religion. We're talking about the mid-16th century, a time when Europe was torn apart by the Protestant Reformation. Renée, despite her Catholic upbringing, became deeply sympathetic to the Protestant cause. And yes, you heard that right, a French princess married into a powerful Italian Catholic family embraced Reformation ideals. That in itself was revolutionary. While at the Ferrara court, Renée's home became a refuge for reformers, and one of her notable guests was none other than John Calvin. Can you imagine? John Calvin, one of the leading figures of the Protestant Reformation, at her court. This wasn't just a casual acquaintance either. Renée corresponded with Calvin, offering him support and protection. But as you might expect, not everyone was thrilled with Renée's religious leanings. Her husband, the Duke Ercole II, was a devout Catholic, and tensions between them over her Protestant sympathies grew. Eventually, in 1554, Renée was arrested and forced to publicly recant her Protestant beliefs. She complied, at least outwardly, but it's widely believed that Renée never truly abandoned her Reformation convictions. After her husband's death in 1559, Renée returned to France. But instead of retiring quietly, she became a powerful protector of French Protestants, known as Huguenots. Her chateau became a sanctuary for those fleeing religious persecution. At a time when the wars of religion were raging in France, Renée was a steadfast ally to the Protestant cause, offering safety and support when few dared to. Despite all the pressure from both sides, her Catholic husband, the Church, and even her own royal family, Renée remained unshaken in her beliefs. It's this unwavering faith and resilience that makes her stand out. Renée of France may not be as well known as other historical figures of her time, but her life tells a powerful story of resistance. She wasn't just a passive player in the great religious and political shifts of the 16th century. She was actively shaping the conversation. From her ties to John Calvin to her protection of the Huguenots, Renée's legacy is one of courage in the face of great adversity. Her life reminds us that history is full of unexpected heroes. People who, against all odds, stay true to their beliefs, even when it puts them at risk. Renée's story may have been overshadowed by kings and queens, but it's one that deserves to be told. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Tudors Dynasty Podcast, Stories of Royalty and Power. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life of Renée of France, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with fellow history lovers. And don't forget to follow me on social media for updates on upcoming episodes. I'm Rebecca Larson, and I'll see you next time with another royal story that shaped the world. Well, that concludes another episode of the Tudors Dynasty Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you love the show and would like to show your support, please consider becoming a patron over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Tutors Dynasty. As a patron, you'll get commercial-free episodes, early access, some patron-exclusive content, and even discounts on upcoming webinars and lectures. Head on over to Patreon today to find out more information. And for as little as $3 a month, you can show your support. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.
The Tutors Dynasty Podcast.